Well, welcome back. Who would have thought episode 3 of Elbow to Elbow TV? Here we are. We're still going. I believe we'll check with our guests shortly, but I believe there's a few number of times we've got to do this to make it a habit. Really appreciate you all joining me here at the slightly later time of 4:45 this Sunday afternoon. And no doubt you'll all be chomping at the bit watching this and then on to the Warriors afterwards. So without further ado, before we actually get on to introducing our guests, just really keen, it'd be really awesome if you aren't already following me on social media. It'd be great to get on, support the cause on your favourite social media channels. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Threads even, and TikTok. So jump on there and find out more about what we're doing. Try to keep the content original on each of the channels, so make sure you join us. So without further ado, let's start inviting our guests to the studio. There we go. We got Taryn Evans. Welcome, Taryn. We got Bennett Grinoff. We got Chelsea Watton, and our special guest for today. Let's welcome Rico Ryan. How are we all today, team?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
No worries. Thanks for coming in. Really quickly, Rico, how are you today? What's happening in your neck of the woods there, mate?
I'm good. I'm just chilling out so far.
Yeah. Just chilling out, mate, and I think it's a well-deserved chilling out, buddy, after all the riding you've been doing recently and all the riding coming up. Now, for those people that don't know where you're based, where are you riding out of these days, mate?
I'm running at a Tauranga BMX. So
nice, fantastic, in the beautiful Tauranga, in the central region. Loving it. Chelsea, how are you this afternoon?
I'm fantastic, Brenton. Thank you.
Hey, and we're just talking about the weather in your neck of the woods. Whereabout is that?
I'm down in Taranaki in New Plymouth.
Nice. Hey, I've got to ask, and this might seem a little bit inappropriate, but it's not, trust me. In terms of what you're wearing, do you have jandals and jeans on, just out of curiosity?
I do have jeans on, but I have to admit I've got my hunting and fishing slippers on too.
Oh,
yeah.
They do say jandals and jeans country is the mighty Taranaki. So fantastic. Bennett, whereabout are you at the moment, mate?
Just in Cambridge at the moment. So yeah, been a nice sunny day here today, a bit windy, but all good.
Fantastic. Well, good to have you. Well, maybe it's not actually good to have you home, but good to have you home nonetheless. So thanks for joining us. And Taryn, where in the world are you, Taryn?
I'm in Auckland, and it is cold and fresh.
Just like the summer was, right? Just like the summer was. Hey, again, so thanks all for joining. Like I was just saying to the hundreds of viewers coming through at the moment, I can see the numbers climbing. It's fantastic. Now, there's a saying about how many times you've got to do something to make it a habit. This is episode 3. Now, does anyone have a clue how many times do we have to do this to make it a habit? Is it 3 or is it 30? I can't quite remember.
I'll roll with 3 for the moment. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like that, Bennett. We'll take the easy option. So 3 times a habit, and here we go, and long may it continue. So thanks again for making episode 3 come to life. Now, really quickly, first guest we're going to have a chat with is Taryn. How are things going for you today, Taryn?
All good, thank you. Just getting ready for school to go back and doing mum stuff, house stuff.
Yes, I'll tell you what, those school holidays can't finish quick enough for some of us, right? But no doubt poor Rico's sitting there going, I want another week, right? But it's not all about the kids, is it? So, Taryn, we've got you on representing the sort of Northern Region BMX Association, just to talk a little bit about the winter race series. So, would you like to just kind of maybe introduce the Northern Region, who the Northern Region is, and what kind of area it takes up?
Yes, I'm a little bit of a fraud here. Kim is actually the Northern Region rep, and I just spoke to her last year about why we didn't have winter racing, and she's like, if you want to help run it, get on board. So we did last year, and it includes the 7 clubs. So there's Sunset Coast, Manukau, Mountain Raiders, East City, Waitakere, North Harbour, and Whangarei. So we sort of felt that we were missing out on winter racing. It hadn't been going for a few years, and we felt there was a demand for it. So we just spoke to the clubs that were in the region and tried to get some dates together and ran it last year for the first time in, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. and we were getting sort of 80 to 120 riders turning up for winter racing. So there's obviously a desire for this racing to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. I remember when I first got involved with my son racing, it felt like, summer came to an end and it was a off a cliff kind of thing, and then boom, back into it. So to have that winter racing is fantastic, right? Keep kids on their bikes and keep things riding. So
Yep.
so last year there were 3 events, if I've got that correct.
There were 3 events last year. Unfortunately, we didn't have North Harbour, who were originally interested, but it all relies on volunteers, and winter's busy as well. And it was just getting those volunteers for that club. So this year we're hoping to have 4. We do have a little bit of a clash at the moment with one of the dates. So fingers crossed we get the 4 clubs in again. It may come down to 3, but just watch social media and we'll hopefully get the 4 in. But like I say, it's about getting the volunteers and the drive to do this, because the riders want to do it.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And talking about dates, we've got some dates come up there, and I know you said there could be a bit of a change coming up, but yeah, so far the 4 clubs, Waitakere, East City, North Harbour and Mountain Raiders out there. Now, these are all on the social media pages already, aren't they, Taryn?
Those dates are up, yes, for sure. They are
fantastic. And no doubt if anything changes, you'll let us know. So really important that everyone jumps on that social media. And I think Northern Region's done a really good job trying to sprinkle those dates in amongst the Central Region, who we had on here a couple of shows ago, who get in really fast with those dates, right? So really, really difficult to find some space before the Northern Region, before the North Island titles, right?
So we're learning, and what we've learned this year is we actually probably need to stick to every second weekend or however it's going to be. So going forward, we're hoping the winter dates will actually be set. It's not only juggling with the Central Region, so you'll see there's a bit of a overlap for the calendar starting. So we pick our winter series dates before the actual season dates come out, and this is where we've actually come into a clash. So, I mean, we're learning every year, and like I say, hopefully we can get better and these dates will be set. And I think it's so important that we do this, because, we were finding we were driving 3 or 4 hours to do winter racing, and then you get there and you do one motor and it'd be cancelled. So you if you drive half an hour and it's cancelled, you feel a little bit okay about it. We really want to keep these kids riding without it being a hassle. The other real benefit to winter racing is it gives volunteers a chance to actually run small meets and get exposed. So come summer meets, there's more people willing to get involved with a little bit of experience under their belt to make the big race meets better. There's so many benefits to it, and there's so much work that actually goes into winter racing as well.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it's just great to everyone to be hanging out together, right? And chewing the chew.
I think so. Connections is massive, right? Winter racing, it should be fun. It should be about connecting, reconnecting, maintaining those connections. It's not serious racing. It's just getting on your bikes, having some fun, getting everyone back together, having a jam, and hopefully not wrecking your bikes in wet conditions.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Awesome. Hey, now listen, I don't know if you're allowed to divulge. I'm really trying to up my level of professionalism around my journalism. Any breaking news that you can kind of like sneaky peek live here first,
Oh, look, last year we tried to run a points series, and I think it's more just to have those connections and make it mean something without it being too competitive. But obviously we find we've got these really small clubs in our area, and then we've got these really big clubs, and even double pointing, for the smaller clubs, it didn't make it worthwhile. So I'm thinking this year, and we're still umming and ahhing about it, is doing a northwest, which will be Whangarei, Waitakere, North Harbour points, and a southeast, which will be Mountain Raiders, Sunset, East City and Manukau, just to give it a little bit of fun and they're a little bit of a niggle, because we know that Waitakere and Mountain Raiders have got a very friendly thing going on. So if we can latch in the other smaller clubs and make them part of that as well in a more of a fun environment. So that's kind of where we're hoping to head this season, winter season.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks, Taryn. Hey, listen, hopefully you get to hang around and not have to shoot off into work. So really appreciate you taking the time to jump in, and a big shout out to the Northern Region, and like you mentioned, a big call out to all those volunteers that are getting sort of stuck in and sort of making the most of it. So a big thank you there, Taryn.
No worries. And please send your little riders along. It's a really relaxed, nice environment for them, especially if they haven't raced there before. So thank you.
No worries. Excellent. And now off to our next guest for a bit of a chat. Chelsea Wadden, how are you this evening or this afternoon, I should say, Chelsea?
Yeah, good. A little bit chillier here than Australia, but we're coping.
I was going to say, are you still suffering from any sort of jet lag at all or anything along those lines?
No, the whole team started to get a little bit sniffly towards the end, and we were a little bit nervous, but lost my voice and it's coming back. So I'm glad I don't sound like a good old man on this interview.
Oh, no, listen, the fact that you're here, I really appreciate that. That, no doubt, you're in hot demand as an internet. I mean, that must be pretty exciting, right? I mean, how do you put that on your resume? International coach? Like, I mean, what does that look like?
Has a good spin to it, eh? I'll claim it. Loved every moment of it. Yeah, hopefully we'll get to do it again.
Cool. Hey, now listen, for those people who have been living under a bit of a rock, maybe for the last couple of weeks, waiting for this show, who won? Like, what happened? What are the results? Can you tell us?
100%. There's been an article released today, written by our manager Sharon, stating all the points, but unfortunately, Australia won, both boys and girls. So they just had the edge. I got the article up here, but New Zealand boys, we came away with 82 points, and the girls came away with 81 points.
Wow.
And the Aussies came away 118, for both categories. So it looks like a lot, but when you watch the racing and you see them out there, they left everything out on the track, and the points really don't do it justice at all.
No, not at all. And listen, I don't want to cause controversy and any kind of break any international sort of relationships that we may have, but are we thinking there's something in the water maybe in Australia, like, or is it just a home track advantage and we're going to kind of like come back at the North Island titles?
I think we'll 100% come back. There were a few hairy moments with protests not going our way, but going the Australians' way. But I mean, that's BMX, and you back the officials and you listen to the officials. So we just had to push on and do our own racing. So hopefully we've got the stuff helping us in our waters at North Islands.
Hey, sorry. So I just hear it. Are they like full on, like, you know, kind of like in rugby, like they call a protest? Is that how that works?
No. So you just go up to a little booth and be like, hey, this rider, they crossed the line or they exited the track and re-entered the track, which happened a couple of times. But yeah, the officials on the corners, they note down what happened, and then they can refer back to what the officials saw and go with it that way. But I think the technology is not there quite yet with BMX, looking at video analysis and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but disappointing. Like, I'm not a very like. Listen, I got to be honest. I might be able to pull this together, but this is about the. I'm pushing the boundaries of my technical capabilities. We didn't get to see much of the live stream events over here, so I didn't get to see a lot of that racing. So I can't wait for those for the next battle of the Tasman, right, over at the North Island titles in Waitakere, which will be fantastic.
Yeah.
And we'll be streaming that live to air, free for everybody internationally. No VPNs or anything else fancily needed. But the main thing is, Chelsea, as long as the Australians aren't trying to steal any of our riders, I just want to name things like Pavlova, Farlap, just to name a few things. So hopefully you brought all our riders back. Is that? I mean, I know one's sitting on the show at the moment, so at least I know one's come back.
Well, yeah, we took 10 over, and we came back with 5. So, yeah, who knows what happened to the rest? But hopefully they kept with their parents on holiday, being school holidays. But you know, win some, lose some, and we brought back the good ones, obviously.
Nice, fantastic. Hey, listen, Mighty Elevens. I mean, what got you involved? How did you get along? Well, I mean, what a gig, right? Like you said, how did it all come about for you?
Yeah, I used to be a Mighty's rider back in the day when it was in Hamilton. So I think being in Mighty Elevens at a young age, it really resonated with me of wanting to give back. And when I was doing my sports degree, I just was thinking I could really give back to the sport and try develop these riders to be more than just in the physical sense, just educate them to be more with the social connections and how can they help themselves mentally off the bike to be better. So I kind of took that kind of side of things, and I mean, you got to apply to be the coach and stuff. Anyone can apply, and they have a look at you and see if you're good enough, and hope they're glad that they gave me a shot.
Fantastic. Hey, now listen, I know this is not all about me, but if there's ever an opening for like a bag handler or anything along those lines, especially for the Australian League, or maybe even like a social media guy, just FYI, I'm available at any time. I'm cheap. I'm also incredibly cheap. So feel free, please. Don't hesitate to put my name forward. So obviously the Mighty 11's coaching. Anything else you're doing to stay in touch with the sport?
Yeah, so I recently moved down to New Plymouth. I used to be from the Waikato, so just getting involved with the New Plymouth Club and helping them set up training programs for those riders heading away, and in the lead up to nationals, just supporting the coaches coming through the club, because you have parents that really want to give back, but they don't know where to start. So just kind of buddying up with them, and yeah, I think that's the main thing. Traveling around, just being in touch with watching the racing is another thing as well. So being present, taking up the opportunity to be involved where I can, like picking up live stream camera stuff, helping out those blokes, and it really, it's real good fun.
Cool. And so listen, I really appreciate your time, and thanks very much for coming on, and no doubt the kids and the parents, and I know all of New Zealand, thank you for your time, effort and energy you put into those Mighty 11s, and next time we'll definitely get them, because I'm exciting racing that team's racing, and it'd be really great to see a bit more of it, I guess, because it's a whole nother aspect, isn't it, really, that team's racing?
Yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic. And it's the only way that you kind of get a sense of it. In the Mighty 11s, you don't see it anywhere else. So it's just something different for the kids, and just being able to communicate on the track slightly differently just gives them something to look forward to, and see how their fellow competitors race and their mindsets as well. Probably gives away a couple of secrets when they're in the team together, but they live and they grow together, and the connections coming through Mighty's riders in the future has been really cool.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Chelsea. And talking about shout outs, Rebecca Edwards from the Hutt Valley Thunderbolts has given us a big high five on the old Facebook. So big thank you to Rebecca Edwards. First time I've seen the chat working like that. So that's pretty cool. Big thank you. Really appreciate that, Chelsea. And jumping over now to our man, Mr. Grinoff Bennett. How are you today?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be on the show.
No, likewise. And listen, like I was saying to you earlier, mate, it's a bit of a story of two halves, right? Great to have you on the show, but also not great really to have you home. What's going on, mate? What happened?
Yeah, so I had a bit of an accident the round 4 of the UCI World Cup series. So collided with another rider in the air, and had a big crash going into the second corner. Had operations on my elbow and clavicle last week, so just kind of bolted it all back together, and back in New Zealand for a few months now, in full recovery mode. So yeah, I mean, it's good.
Listen,
good.
For those of us that are not that educated, I mean, Taryn probably knows exactly what you were talking about. She's in the medical profession, as one would say, but somebody maybe as simple as myself, whereabout are those body parts you mentioned? I mean, are you able to, firstly, actually, we're a family show. Are you able to kind of point them out?
Yeah, so clavicle or collarbone, it's up in your shoulder, and then obviously olecranon in your elbow. So yeah, just had a few plates put in.
What was it? The funny elbow?
No, the other one. So yeah, similar injury last year as well. So even everything up.
I mean, it must be really hard if you broke your funny elbow, right? Because you'd be laughing, but it would be painful, but you'd be laughing, right? I mean, the emotion would just be unreal.
Oh man, can't imagine.
So I guess crashes are part of the sport, right? Unfortunately, but I guess that's a really important reason why we wear things like helmets, eh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like every sport, injury is always a part of it, and you've just got to kind of take it on the chin, move forward, and see what we can get out of it. So plenty of positives kind of from the trip. So
Cool.
it's good to capitalize on those, work out a few creases to iron out over the winter, and hopefully come back stronger at the end of the year. So yeah.
No, fantastic. And I mean, it must have been pretty full on though too, right? Having it happen internationally, overseas, a long way from home. No doubt you're well taken care of. I believe you might even have, rumor has it, and feel free to put these rumors to bed. Rumor has it that maybe you've got a frequent flyer card for the A&E. Is that true? Or?
I may as well have one at this rate. Yeah, it's been a rough 12 months, but yeah, it's like I said, all part of the sport. You're always going to have rough patches. So hoping that's the end of it now. So now the goal is just get back to full health and see what we can do for the rest of the year.
No, cool. Hey, so quick summary. I mean, how was the racing going up until this point? How were you feeling about how you were progressing and the results you were getting and how it was all panning out?
Yeah, really good, thanks. So had a bit of a rough start to the trip. Had a few weekends not really going my way, which was really learnt the heaps. Super character building. It's such a high level over there. So speed was there this year, so really happy about that. Managed to pick up a few wins at the European Cup rounds in Sakarya in Turkey. So in the under 23 class. So I was really stoked about that. It's nice to have a few results on paper, which was really good. So yeah, up until then was going well. Had a good first day in Papendal at the World Cup rounds, just short of the final. So I was disappointed in my day, one step shorter than I would have liked. But yeah, when it's got to take the positives from it. But yeah, so just a bit unfortunate in the trip the way I did, but just got to take it on the chin really and move forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, mate, you've had a couple of really, really, really big parts because I know there'll be a ton of riders watching this that, maybe they go out the gates, they're putting their all on the line and maybe they're not coming away with the results that they want, right? So it's really great that you've touched on that. And it's about, I guess, looking for those wins out of all those races, right? Like the takeaways, I guess. Is that sort of pretty much on the money there?
Yeah, definitely. I guess kind of having a process opposed to an outcome orientated success is always a great way to look at the sport, especially something like BMX, like where it can end so quickly, or your day could be going so well and then take a turn so quickly. So yeah, just taking those small wins and kind of being able to reflect positively on what actually did go well in your race day is a super key, important part to being a racer and getting the most out of yourself and just being able to reflect on those wins.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think Chelsea was talking about the same thing, right? While unfortunately the Mighty 11s didn't come away with the big title, which we will get back shortly. It's about, those. And I guess that's the great thing about technology and the sport these days, right? With things like scores and all the gates, and you can see, so even if it's down to that, how fast are my gates getting better? Am I getting into that first corner faster, right? It's all those little things, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're pretty lucky in the sport to have technology such as scores. So, yeah, I guess it's a really good way of kind of analyzing your race day, taking some positive points away from it. So, but yeah, it doesn't all have to be, I guess, results or time outcomes. Like, I guess, did you have fun with your mates on your race day? Did you get to do any cool jumps on the track? Did you enjoy the track? Just little things like that are really important, I think.
No, definitely, and I think, like you said, you really hit on it. That's one thing I love about BMX is just the community environment, right? The mates that you build. When as you head around the traveling carnival scene, that I call it, which is pretty cool. Hey, so you've touched on a few things about getting back on the bike and working towards it. So what's the plan from here, mate? Have you got a bit of a timeline? When can we expect to see your track start again? Any kind of sneaky updates?
Yeah, so don't really have a strict timeline yet with injury, just kind of taking it as it comes really. I'm expecting around 3.5 months of recovery before being back on the bike. So we aiming to be kind of back racing for the Santiago del Estero World Cups at the end of the year.
Cool.
In October. So yeah, that's kind of the goal, to be back riding by then. Bit of a timeline, but I think we can probably make it happen. So we'll see how we go.
Now, listen, if I can assist in that recovery in any way, listen, let me know, and I'll find someone that can help and actually knows what they're talking about. But if you're kicking about and you got not a lot on, there's always a space in the commentary box for you, mate. Feel free,
amazing.
hop on up, and have a blat in the commentary. We'd love to have you there, and it'll keep your eye in anyway, if nothing else, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it'd be awesome to give it a go sometime.
And hey, listen, last thing before we move on to our special guest for the day, although everyone here is special, just thought I'd say that quickly. February, Rotorua. I mean, how exciting is that, right? I mean,
yeah, awesome.
Everyone's pumped.
Yeah, can't wait. It's super exciting for the sport in New Zealand. So to have a major event like that in our part of the world, especially in the Olympic year where you're going to get the best riders from all corners of the globe coming to New Zealand, it's pretty exciting for the sport, I think. Just, I guess, to get with New Zealand being so far away from, I guess, the rest of the world, the rest of the BMX world, getting that exposure to that high level of riding is going to be so valuable to the sport in New Zealand, and I think it's super exciting. It's gonna be cool.
Cool. Hey, now this is again. I know this is not all about me, Bennett, but listen, when you see me around the traps over summer with all your international mates, can you just let them know that I'm legit and that I'm actually I know what I'm doing here and help me score a few maybe of those. Obviously, my focus will be on you guys, but it'd be great to grab a few international riders for a few interviews.
Yeah, of course.
When we start running, like at Oceanas, I don't know what it was about me, but people started running as soon as I started walking towards them. So hopefully you can hook a brother up when they all come over. Awesome. Thanks very much, Bennett. Now,
Thank you.
Without further ado, let's invite up our last guest for the afternoon, Rico Ryan. How are you, Rico?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, mate, I'm doing really great. Thanks for coming on, mate. Really a privilege to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Hey, now, so you and Chelsea look like you've had the same sort of fashion tips there. What's that all about? What's going on with that shirt, mate?
Well, I traded this with my good friend Brody from Australia.
Oh, yep.
I've got my shirt up there. You might not see it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So you've just come back from riding over in Australia with the Mighty 11s in Chelsea, eh?
Yeah, I have.
Cool. I suddenly thought maybe she'd left. You were one of the five she'd left in Australia with that Australian in the background. So thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. I mean, is this your first international already?
Yeah, this is my first international race. I've never experienced it before. It was quite cool.
Awesome. Nothing to the game?
Pardon me?
Oh, looks like either I'm having a connection. You're right there, Rico?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh. Chelsea and Bennett, have I still got you there? Okay.
Yeah, you're glitching a little bit.
Oh, maybe it's me. Maybe the kids jumped on the odd Xbox. I told them not to. Sorry, Rico. Hopefully you can hear me okay now. So let's go back to Australia again and race over there again.
Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, it was good fun, good experience.
Excellent. And hey, so what's it like? What's it like racing as part of a team?
It's difficult because all the strategies are different, and we race together normally individually, so it's difficult racing together as a team.
Cool. Hey, listen, I don't want you to tell me all of Chelsea's secrets, okay? But I was watching the All Blacks last night, right? And when they do a line out, there's a guy kind of going 3, 5, 7, 9, and it must mean something. Do you guys have code words like that?
No, we have up, down, side, left, right around the corners. Just communication.
Oh, communication. That's the key, right? Without that communication, I guess it would go horribly wrong, eh?
Yeah.
Now, how did you find your results? Were you happy with what you did over there and how it all went for you?
Yeah, I'm happy. At least I tried, but I'm very happy with my results, and everybody else should be happy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, did you know everybody else in your team when you went over there?
Yeah, I knew everybody else, but we all stayed in one house, so I just got to know them a bit more. It was good fun. I didn't know the
Awesome. So
girls.
now you got mates all over the country, eh?
Yeah.
And what about your Australian mate? So how did he go?
He went good. I don't really know much about his results, but he was fast. All of them were fast. It was good, good experience for me, and a lot of fast riders in the Australian team.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, like Chelsea said, though, I did manage to get a few snippets thanks to your mum for trying to live stream from the side of the track, and it looked like it was some pretty intense riding. I can't wait to see you guys at it again as we head into the North Island titles in Waitakere. So I believe there's some more trials that have to come up before that, but no doubt there'll be some exciting racing later in the year. Hey, now I believe while this might have been your first international rodeo, I don't believe it's your last this year. Where are you heading off to shortly?
Shortly in 2 weeks, I'm heading off to Glasgow, Scotland, for the World Championships.
Wow, cool. In 2 weeks' time, did you say?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, it seems like you're a bit more organised than I am. Apparently, I'm going to Scotland, but I got my dates wrong. I'm going May next year, so I don't know where I got that intel from. So I'm going to need to really sort out my information sources, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, now I was talking to you a bit earlier on. There's something really special about your helmet. Do you want to kind of talk us through your helmet there, mate?
Yeah, so we've got it just here. We've got a special design. We got the New Zealand flag coming off the nose, and up on the peak we have New Zealand and Scottish flag.
Wow.
All the sponsors around. We set up a little fundraiser, and whoever supported us has their name on the helmet.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of names.
That's impressive, mate. And what was the fundraiser for? Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
The fundraiser was for accommodation and racing and all that.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, eh, to head over to Glasgow and race?
No, not at all.
Now, did you manage to find accommodation? Because I heard it's really difficult over there at the moment. Or are you guys sleeping in a car? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure yet.
Hopefully the main sponsors, mum and dad, have got that sorted, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, they can't have an elite athlete like yourself sleeping in the car, can they?
No.
Now, I've also heard you got some shirts organised. How did those go?
It was good. It was difficult, but we got there in the end, and we've been selling them so far.
Fantastic. No doubt people will be wearing them proudly as they head around. Now, I might need to reach out. I'm thinking for Elbow to Elbow TV, I'm thinking the next stage for me is to go merchandising. I might get some merch myself. So I might have to give you a call for some ideas and some tips.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Cool, awesome. No, mate, appreciate that. Hey, listen, good luck for Scotland. Hope you have fun. Hope you enjoy it. And no doubt we'll see some more live streaming from your parents while you're over there, eh?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Fantastic. Hey, team, so that's absolutely, that's a big show today. So thank you all for coming on. Really appreciate your time. We were going to have a bit of a chat about the upcoming race calendar and what was happening for the year, but I think we're kind of starting to run out a bit of time. But any kind of initial thoughts on the BMX New Zealand race calendar? Has anyone had a look at it?
Not yet.
Oh, you got a few other important things to worry about, mate, like Scotland.
Yeah.
No, well, listen, there's a lot of racing, so what I might do is I might actually put up a special another episode a bit later on and go with and I'll look to go with a special series on running through the race calendar later in the year. So again, a big shout out and a big thank you to our special guests, Chelsea, Bennett and Rico and Taryn, who no doubt had to pop out to sort of help save a life, no doubt. No doubt all these lovely guests already follow me on their favourite social media platforms. You all are, aren't you?
I believe so.
Sure.
Yeah. And so listen, if you're not, jump on over, scan the QR code in the screen that's just popped up and hiding my face. Get on board, help us out. Like the likes, share the shares, and check out all the different content that we've got posting up. But again, listen, really appreciate all your time and effort. It's been great having you. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, good luck you all. Talk soon.
Awesome. Catch you later.